Speaker, my colleagues, I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, the issue on the floor has to do with the MTEF. And before I go into it, Mr. Speaker, I want to crave your indulgence and to also let you know that I belong to the opposition and a very proud member of the opposition for that matter, and also a very progressive opposition in this House. Mr. Speaker, I listened to the plea of the leader of the House on the subject matter. And when I was listening to him, I was reflecting to the last 8 years while he was a minority leader, an opposition leader. And I was wondering that if he were to be in this position that we have found ourselves, what would my leader be doing right now on this floor? And I came to it again to say that whether we like it or not, he's the leader. Issues have been mixed up. There are mix-ups. And the responsibility goes to all members that are seated here today, including the leadership, that as at when these things came in, and as sitting parliamentarian, we were supposed to know that we shouldn't have allowed Mr. President to lay the budget as at when he laid it. But we allowed him. This is Parliament. Mr. Speaker, before I go into that again, I will make one small comment. And this comment should not be misunderstood. I'll make this comment to also instigate this Parliament to know that we owe a responsibility to the people we represent, most especially this great country, that the best democratic government or the best democracy fails when parliaments are refused to carry out their responsibilities. When they are refused, or when parliament itself refuses to carry out its own responsibilities. And the best of the military rule, which is the worst you can ever have, will always fail when the guns refuse to boom. Mr. Speaker, this is democracy. I have listened to points raised by my sister and colleague. She has made very cogent points. It becomes very difficult for us, Mr. Speaker, to just pick up a paper just last night, and we are expected to go through it and do seasoned contributions to it that could make sense to anybody. Yes, we have seasoned parliamentarians. We can do it if we agree to do it. On that point, Mr. Speaker, I want to plead because we are in opposition and we are a very progressive House, that this nation must move forward. We have seen the mistakes. We saw them coming. And we knew the laws are all there. If you ask me, I will say it is too late to carry those volumes of laws and start quoting them at this point, because we should have quoted them much earlier before now. So what do we do at this point? I plead with my very progressive opposition members that we should allow it go. But the good thing is that I can see the leader actually sweating it out right now. He never let us rest. My leader will take the MTEF and allow it to go in the interest of this nation, in the interest of the people that we represent, and in the interest of those that actually voted for us to be in this great parliament. And so, the MTEF to me, I would say, I will only take on the issues which was raised by my sister. The issues of the production of oil and the sales of oil. Whether we like it or not, Mr. Speaker, as at this moment, the economy of this nation is predicated on oil. And as such, when figures are being reeled out about oil, we must be realistic. Most especially on the fact that the Niger Delta is still boiling. Efforts are ongoing. I remember yesterday the Minister for Petroleum was in my state, meeting with stakeholders, which means issues are ongoing. They are discussing. As of today, I don't even know what the production of this nation is. Nobody tells us what the figures are. And to make matters worse, even when the so-called ministers are invited, they refuse flagrantly, they don't even attend. When you ask them questions, it's as if you are bothering them on issues that has to do with the progress of this nation. Mr. Speaker, this shouldn't be. 2.1 in 2018, 2.8 in 2019, and then about 3.1, if I hear you very well, in 2020. Mr. Speaker, this is very unrealistic. From what I know, for a very long time, we have not had fresh rigs go into the Atlantic or into the creeks or into the swamp to explore for oil. Yes, various efforts have been made in the basins, and nothing has come out of it. I tell you, Mr. Speaker, let us not confuse Nigerians. This is unrealistic, and this is where I'll rest my case. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. Thank you.